The only difference between saving and hoarding is not an amount. See, sometimes you look at someone else and say, well, if I had that much, I would do. Yeah, right. You hadn't been there. You don't know. See, the difference in saving and hoarding is your attitude. It's your heart. That's what Larry Burkett used to say. Some people have $10 and they hoard that. Others have 10 million and don't hoard that. See, what I'm talking about is this. You got to learn to save money. And then when you get a pile of money, whether it's a big pile or a little pile, how you treat that, your attitude towards that tells us whether that is saving or whether that is hoarding. It kind of is like this. Here's the deal. This is the international sign of anger, the fist. And if you hold your hand open like this, even a dog understands that. See, if you hold your money like this, it will never get out. But guess what? No more can get in either. It doesn't work that way. The clenched fist is the hoarding idea. The open hand allows money to come and go, and you've got a different attitude in the way you're looking at it.
Coming up next is going to be Kim. She's a sophomore in college, 20 years old, calling from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hey, Kim, what's up in your world?
Hey, Dave. I've never really been taught how to save, and I never have any money left, probably because I really like to shop. Can you give me some tips that really work for saving?
Well, being a shoposaurus is like the natural state of the 20-year-old girl, and so I love it. Fabulous. Nobody is taught to save. None of us come out of our mother's womb and they go, look, it's a baby saver. That never happens, and so we all have to be taught. It is a learned skill. I'm a spender by my nature. Some people are more natural savers, and so I'm more like you are, Kim, in that I had to really work at this. And the thing that taught me to save, that enabled me to start saving, was two things. One is I had to set some goals, and I had to say, gosh, if I save up, I can buy this thing. And for those of us that like to buy stuff, that's a great way to cause you to save, is to save up to buy something. And then the second thing was I started looking at the mathematics of saving and investing. And when you start investing over the course of your life, like $100 a month invested from age 20 to age 60 is $1,176,000 in your mutual fund, you get to be a millionaire if you save. Then guess what? You learn to save. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, Kim, hope that helps you. Thanks for calling.
Now, let's look. There are three basic reasons that we save money for. Number one is for an emergency fund. Number two is for purchases. Number three is for wealth building. When the emergency fund is involved, what we're saving for here is unexpected events. Unexpected events do occur. You can count on it. Grandma said it. Grandma said to save for a visual aid. It's going to rain. Money Magazine says 78% of you will have a major negative financial event in any given 10-year period of time. That means 8 out of 10 of you in here, if I count 10 families, are going to have something come along and punch you to the tune of $7,000, $8,000, $5,000, somewhere in that range, and hit you with an unexpected event, and you have to be ready. Emergencies are going to happen. They're unexpected. Count on it. Well, Dave, you need to be positive. I'm positive. Emergencies are going to happen. You can count on it. And you've got to be ready for the emergencies.
We've been talking about the first foundation, which is saving $500 in an emergency fund. Now, if you don't have much of an income right now, you may be wondering, how on earth can I come up with $500 cash? Well, let's talk about that. Some of you have never had this much money in your hands. Saving up $500 when you're in high school, this is a big deal. And that represents a lot of hours of cutting grass or babysitting or working a part-time job. You don't get $500 in the bank by accident. It takes some time and a lot of hard work, but it's definitely possible. When my 3 children were younger, they were teens, we told them early on, even before the teenage years, that they had to earn the money to pay for their own cars. I told them to work hard, be intentional, save, and when it was time to buy the car, we would match it. And so every dollar they saved equaled $2. We called it 401 Dave. The oldest one, well, Denise, she only had a couple of years to save, but she still managed to save up $4,500. And so that means she got like a $9,000 car. It's a pretty cool Mustang. And when her sister saw that this happened, her brother saw that this happened, they knew I was serious. Rachel was next. And so she had a couple of more years to save, and she worked really hard. She ended up with $8,000. I matched that, so she got like a really nice $16,000 BMW. It was a sweet car. It was fantastic. I was really proud of them. And I told them I was proud of them, and I was proud to match it for them because they were working hard, they were saving, they were hitting their goals. So at that point, my son Daniel, he had watched all of this happen, and so he had a lot longer to do it. And you know, this guy worked his tail off. He worked weekends, he worked nights, he painted the stairwell in our office building, he worked all summer. He had a lot of fun, he played hard, he played a lot of sports, but this guy focused on the goal. So by the time he turned 16, he had $12,000 saved. Now, when I matched that, that's $24,000. Now, he didn't spend $24,000 on a car, but he did buy a really cool Jeep Wrangler and was able to give a really nice gift to a ministry he wanted to support. Now, I know a lot of adults who can't save $12,000 over 5 years, but our teenage son did it. And he did it because he made it a priority. Saving money takes hard work. It takes focus. It takes time. And you know what else it takes? It takes the ability, the maturity to say to yourself, no. No, I can't afford to go to the movies tonight. No, I don't need a new cell phone this year. No is a powerful wealth-building word. The ability to say no to yourself can set you up to win big time. One of the biggest problems people face with money is what I call death by 1,000 cuts. They spend a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. All these little impulse purchases add up to a mountain of debt. And they end up broke and miserable, all because they never learned to tell themselves no. And that's what makes the first foundation so important. You're learning right now, here today, to prioritize your spending. And when you save that $500 and put it in the bank just for emergencies, you're setting a standard for the rest of your life. You're putting a stake in the ground, and you're saying, I refuse to live like everyone else. You're deciding that you are going to do what it takes to win. I don't know who this poor guy named Murphy is, but he got saddled with this thing called Murphy's Law. And we've always said that. It's kind of an old saying. But what Murphy's Law is that if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. If it can break, it'll break. Count on it. It's kind of a negative way of looking at life. But the truth is, you know, sometimes it rains. And so if you don't have that rainy day fund, you invite Murphy, if it can go wrong, it will, to live with you. You'll turn your life into a country song. Well, a teenager needs an emergency fund like anyone else. Hopefully, though, the big emergencies will be covered by your parents. But what would constitute an emergency for you? Maybe some car repairs, maybe an unexpected trip you wanted to take, or an unexpected trip you had to take with family or something. So a little bit of money, maybe $500, would be a great emergency fund for most teenagers.